What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. Give you a quick overview of what shorts did, what the data points are saying, and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi did close 2.87% in the red, 1169 the low, 1225 the high. You did see a fair amount of volume though, so 51.2 million shares being traded, 50.1 is the average. So I think a lot of institutions were starting to rebalance. Probably they'll be doing the rest on Monday because that's the end of Q1, but ultimately a lot of volume today did come from algorithmic trading, and that was being fed based on the fear from PCE and also the Michigan consumer sentiment. So the Michigan consumer came in at 57. Forecast was 57.9. This is now the fourth consecutive report of it going down, so that's not the best. So it's kind of mid 2024 vibes ultimately. And then PCE month over month came in a little bit hotter. Year over year came in flat at 2.5, but still that is relatively high. And the problem with PCE is this is from February. What a lot of analysts have been stating is that these tariffs, which is going to be pretty much kicking off next week, that is going to prompt a lot of higher inflation. So we won't really be able to see the damage of that for pretty much two reports. So it's just a lot of grayness in the broader market right now. Today, no news from SoFi, no SEC filings, nothing like that. They did have this 8K that came out yesterday that I kind of talked on how it's associated to the performance awards and how SoFi's stock price, there's going to be a certain multiple associated to that, potentially giving them a little bit more. So a little bit incentivizing for management to really kick ass, take names, and get SoFi to outperform the NASDAQ composite. So that's a good thing. But I feel like there was one tweet that did come out from Anthony today, and it was in regards to that. So a lot of his things, it's very Easter eggish. I know that's a made up word, but you guys get what I'm saying. It's very coded. So he does say when the stakes are high and the standard of success becomes being perfect, there's only one way forward: unmatched leadership, unmatched hard work, and unmatched grit. God bless WDW and fresh horses. So yeah, essentially, I guess you can read between the lines. Ultimately, he's saying that SoFi is going to be kicking ass, taking names, obviously similar to what was quoted for the most part, if you read between the lines from that 8K. So yeah, maybe big things might be coming. Crypto should be coming right around the corner. On a side note, there's been a lot of things signaling that banks have the AOK. That's been kind of in the air for the last 3 weeks. For like 1 month, 3 weeks or something like that. So I think it's just a matter of time for SoFi just to say, hey, we're good, we're going to go that route. And yeah, I think that the market will really appreciate that, because over the last 48 hours, we've seen a lot of individuals turn towards Robinhood because of them innovating. So I think it's now SoFi's time to really do that. But aside from that though, looking at options, you had 8.67 million in calls, 7.79 in puts. 44% of all the options being done today were bearish in nature. So you're not really seeing like buy the dip type of moment, unfortunately today. But ultimately 16.4 million in total premiums, 17 was yesterday, 14 the day prior. Put/call ratio is 0.78, so getting up there, not necessarily I guess the best in that capacity. But today though, you did have, based on the calls, there's a consensus for it to be roughly around 12.50 to 13 for next week, bears for it to be sub 11. With today being Friday and it closing at 11.77, that does mean that the $12 strike price and above expires worthless. That's the downside of options. So ultimately you have 1,000 in open interest at the 11.50, so that's not going to amount to anything. And that's probably why shorts didn't do anything today, because they didn't need to step in to really manipulate. The market was already in full bloodbath mode. They just needed to kind of sit back and relax. So ultimately, shorts did increase about 100,000 shares today. 12.91% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 139.06 million shares. Like I said, even if we look over here, shorts didn't do anything. That's if kind of looking at the teal line right there. So yeah, they were just sitting back, relaxing. Let's say SoFi was closer to this right here, like let's say the 13.50. That strike price, they would most likely step in just to manipulate it below that 13.50, just to ensure that that does expire worthless. But given where SoFi did land at the end of the week, they didn't really need to do anything. So it is rather unfortunate, but hopefully next week we do see a very good market recovery. A lot of just what ifs are in the market. Trump did state as well on Friday, like midway, that he's optimistic about the tariffs with Canada and that they can negotiate a deal. So I think even though a lot of people are very fearful about the tariffs, at the same time they could be dropped like that. So yeah, something to take note of. Friday was the very first day, so there was, I think, 4 or 5 consecutive days of the cost to borrow minimum being green, or like in the positive. Cost to borrow minimum on Friday, though, was negative, so negative 0.7, meaning a broker is out there paying people to short SoFi. So kind of crazy stuff as per usual. These are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. So you had some strings of selling, some buying right here. Ultimately, like I said, algorithmic trading just overshadowed all of this, which was largely negative. After hours, you are seeing some pretty good buys, but like I said, I think that's associated to just some rebalancing. 1.9, 1.39 dark pool transactions. There were some big ones as well. So 1.1 million right there, 2.7. And yeah, so as usual, dark pool is very popular. That's linked to a lot of large transactions, large institutions, and shorts. With it closing at 11.85 though, it did close right above this S2, so $11.82 will be a key one to really watch for going into next week. After hours, it's dipping slightly below that, but very little volume, so take that of course with a grain of salt. 12.09 will be the next strong target / resistance. No new analyst ratings, nothing like that. The next big one to really watch for is that 200-day moving average at $11.17. So what is your general thoughts on SoFi? Do you think that these prices are buys, or do you think this is close to the bottom? Do you think that this pullback in general across the board is justified, or what's your kind of 2 cents on all of that? So with obviously Q1 concluding pretty much right out next week for the most part, I'll be continuing to monitor just to see if any analysts are changing any estimates. And right now there's not, so we do have currently 4 cents for the earnings per share. That's for Q1. And then for the revenue, we have 740 million. So that's based on 8 analysts. And this is exactly what you want to see regardless. You want to see nice, constant, anticipated growth. So yeah, all in all, crappy day, but if you believe in SoFi or believe in other stocks, it's a dream come true. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Hopefully everyone has a kick-ass weekend. Stay tuned for my video over the weekend where I go over a lot of expectations for this upcoming week. And then one final thing, if you're looking for some buy signals, pop over to my Patreon. I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point and bangers. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all of that, appreciate all of you watching.